Well, as you say, I mean, it's going to be a sort of deeper strike than previously. Services that weren't affected before in February when there were these last walkouts, like cancer, are being affected for the first time. However, the strike isn't lasting as long as it was expected to, because the government won their High Court battle last week, so it's only going to last until midnight tonight rather than until tomorrow. And tomorrow is when we really see the key crunch down, because that is when the NHS Staffing College of 12 key unions will all come together to vote on this pay offer. Some of the bigger unions have backed it, like Unison and GMB. Others haven't, like Unite and the RCN, which is going on strike today.
And James, we have heard of local deals being done, and nurses actually organising their own cover in some places to make sure that there are going to be staff in these cancer care units, for example. Why do you think there has been that U-turn? Because they previously said they wouldn't be making any exceptions for anybody, but now we're hearing about these local deals. Do you think they are aware of public opinion in all of this and wanting to keep the public on side?
Yes, of course, and I think public opinion is key in this. I think ministers always saw that nurses was going to be the really difficult union battle to win, because obviously nurses have huge public support. And I think we've seen that in their response, is that the nurses are kind of aware of how this is going to play among the public, so they're providing some life and limb cover. But also I think there's perhaps that, a sense of public duty in this, in that they don't want to see people disrupted by it. They just want to see a better offer from the government. So it's a mix of principle and pragmatism, I'd say, which is why they've cut these kind of deals.
And James, what a week for all of this to happen in, when I think resources are stretched to the limit. I mean, particularly when it comes to policing the large crowds that will be coming out in London, and let's hope there's no medical emergencies with all of that. But I mean, I think just natural people fainting, people being ill by and large, people falling. There will be extra demand on the health service, so the timing maybe just not the best.
Yes, and we're also expecting teachers to go on strike tomorrow as well. There's also planned disruption, as we saw the Transport Secretary angrily attacking the rail workers yesterday, due to take effect during Eurovision. There's also planned strikes later this month, which are going to affect things like the FA Cup final. So really, I think the government have to take an approach of trying to work through these strikes and address them one by one. But as you say, Eamon, it's not a great time when so many public events are happening, particularly with the eyes of the world on London with the coronation this week.
James, how much does all of this impact on the local elections almost upon us now? That we hear then more than half of people polled expect the Conservatives to lose a lot of seats. Do the Conservatives expect to lose a lot of seats?
Well, Eamon, we're now in the age-old game of expectation management. Initially, it was thought that the Conservatives could lose up to 1,000 seats. I think those expectations might have been perhaps a little pessimistic, and we're expecting more losses of around sort of 700-800 seats or so. The key thing, of course, is how do these elections compare to last time, 2019, when both the main parties did pretty badly, scoring 28% in the polls. So it's not just enough for the Conservatives to do badly. Labour really needs to do a good showing here. They've been briefing figures of around 400 council seats, but they really ought to be getting around sort of 700 or so if they want to make those big gains necessary to win a majority at next year's general election.